Ladies and gentlemen, do I have some big news for you. So, for those of you who may or may not have known, there was a very, very large Time to Kill update that just dropped for Battle for Neighborville. This is something that in-game you may not have seen. They didn't advertise it too well on the home screen. They've been advertising this Festivus update, but they did drop this Time to Kill update, and this completely changes the game. It adjusts the damage values for almost every single character, giving us exactly what we wanted, a faster time to kill. Because right now, one of my major complaints, and a lot of people's major complaints, was that the game was too slow. It took too long to kill enemies in multiplayer, and this is going to completely change that. It's going to give us a lot faster time to kill, just like previous games. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually on the EA.com where they have the full update list of all the changes. You can go ahead and check these out for yourself if you would like. I'll put a link in the description, but essentially I'm going to go through each of these and tell you what characters got buffed, and if one of your characters got buffed, then now you know, hey, my character got better. I'm going to keep playing as this guy. Otherwise, there may be some new characters that you're going to start seeing in multiplayer because there are a lot of buffs. So let's get right to it. Starting off, as you've probably seen on the screen for a while, we have P Shooter. So the P cannon damage is increased from 12.5 to 20. That is a massive, massive increase. And something that I already thought the P Shooter was pretty good, but we're going to unfortunately probably be seeing a lot more P Shooters with this update. So moving on, the Chomper. The Chomper's direct damage was increased to 40. So that, I haven't seen a whole lot of Chompers every now and then, but just that normal Chomp damage is increased. That'll be interesting. Some other increases. We have the Slobber Shot increased by over 10. Moving down, the Kernel Corn. Thank you. Kernel Corn damage increased to 5. So that's almost 1.5 damage increase there. That'll be really nice. Kernel Corn is probably one of the least popular characters that I've seen, so hopefully this should make him a little more viable. Nightcap got damage increased to 17 per strike. That's pretty high. I know in the early game Nightcap was pretty much the only plant that people played as, so it'll be nice to see. Or I don't know if it'll be nice to see a higher damage for Nightcap. Nightcap was already pretty strong to begin with, but 17 damage for Nightcap. Snapdragon, damage increased to 6.5. Snapdragon, that's pretty decent, probably to keep on par with the rest of these buffs. Not a crazy damage increase, but good enough to put a few more Snapdragons out on the playing field. Snapdragon has been a somewhat popular character, as I've noticed. So let's see what else. Flare Ball, damage increased to 21, so that's almost doubling that. Moving down to Cactus. Cactus is an interesting one. Cactus did not get really buffs. If you look here, the Spike Shot, what happened is they increased the ammo cost for a lot of these. Just strange. One thing is, so the Spike Strike, which is the Cactus's non-charged shot or the non-zoomed shot, got a 2 damage increase, so that's going to make it more online with Kernel Corn. And things like that as far as the rapid fire damage, which is kind of interesting to me. Probably won't be playing Cactus too much. Citron, very, very, very tiny damage increase. I know Citron's been one of the top planned characters for a while now. Actually a slight damage decrease with the muzzle damage, decreased projectile spread, which is good. So we'll keep going down. So we're focusing more on damage in this video. You can look up this whole article or post on your own time if you want more details. Acorn and Oak. Acorn, thank goodness. Acorn, just the plain Acorn was pretty garbage. I'd always transform into Oak, but these two are some of my favorite characters. Seeing Acorn's damage increase to 6.6 is going to make it on par with the Kernel Corn to some extent, so I'm definitely going to be playing Acorn and Oak a lot more. Increased damage as well, decreased recoil, which is good. Increased damage for the acorn on top of the oak, which should hopefully promote more team play, which is good. And let's see, the wood grief. So that's the oak's attack. So the oak's attack got bumped back up to 24, which I believe was more on par with where it was in the very, very early stages of the game. Sunflower's been a crazy popular character, and Sunflower did get a damage buff. So damage buff to 8 from 5.5. Ammo's decreased a bit, so that'll help. Heal beam, heal rate is increased, so that's an important one as well. Now, the interesting thing to note is that, with all of these damage buffs, all of the damage buffs for every other character is going to somewhat nerf Sunflower, just because Sunflower is an inherently healy character. So players will be getting killed faster, and I don't think you'll end up with those situations where you have multiple Sunflowers healing someone and you cannot kill them anymore. Rose got a buff. Rose damage increased from 7 to 12, which is pretty significant. Now the ammo capacity decreased and the rate of fire decreased a little bit, but just using Rose a little bit in the target range, I could tell that I think this could be a character that sneaks up and we see popping up in matches more often. Moving on to the zombies, we have the Foot Soldier. Foot Soldier's damage got increased to 6, which is very needed. The Foot Soldier, I would have trouble unloading an entire ammo clip on somebody and they wouldn't even die. It was absolutely ridiculous how slow the time to kill was with Foot Soldier, and then ammo capacity bumped up, which is great to see. I already ran an increased ammo capacity upgrade on the Foot Soldier just because I do like that character, even though he was really bad. The Imp damage got increased, which is good to see because Imp has such low health that it needs a damage buff. Otherwise he's just going to be dying over and over again, and you're pretty much going to be grinding out to get that Z-Mech. Ammo capacity increased 56. That's good stuff. Cata damage increased, which is good. I found that the 1 damage for Cata was kind of low, and I wasn't dealing nearly as much damage as say the Nightcap special. So we'll keep going down. The Robo Laser actually got decreased damage, which is interesting. Okay. Super Brainz, Heroic Fists, not too much damage increase. Super Brainz was always a character that had was pretty solid already going into this. The Ultra Flying Fist, not a huge damage buff, as you can see. Second charge got a buff, 10 buff, so it encourages you to use that second charge maybe a little more often. Shield health increased. It's probably on par with the damage buffs from the other characters. 80s Action Hero didn't get buffed too crazily. I guess the center bolt damage for his first charge was increased from 7 to 17. That's a pretty substantial increase. The second charge increased by around 10, and the full charge damage increased by 5. Moving on to Electric Slide. So Electric Slide is an interesting one. You'll see that the damage actually got decreased from 18 to around 17. However, let me scroll all the way back up to the top, because prior to all of these updates that just dropped in early December, we actually got an update we'll see, November 27th, there was an update. So this is the pre-Time to Kill update. So this one's been out for a while. And Electric Slide got damage increased from 9 to 18, so the damage was actually doubled on that. So that was a huge damage buff that came about a week ago, which makes sense now. When we go back down Electric Slide, they thought that was a little too high, so they bumped it back down. But they took the damage down and then increased the rate of fire, so honestly, the output's not going to change too much. And the ammo capacity was upgraded, which is going to help a lot too. So Electric Slide is going to be a good character to play. Let's see, moving down. Deadbeard, ammo capacity got upgraded. I don't see a lot of Deadbeards, so that's good. Increased damage per projectile for a scatter shot. Barrel Blast, the health was increased. Let's see, Parrot Drone's got some damage increases. Not too substantial. All right. Going down to All-Star. All-Star got a damage buff to 8. So not a huge buff, but All-Star was a pretty popular character. Let's see, Space Cadet and Space Station. Cosmo Shot, that's good. Increased by a little over 2 damage. That'll help the character. Seems like all the characters with these rapid fire attacks seem to be being buffed around they all seem to be around that 7 to 8 damage range now, which should just allow for faster gameplay, faster time to kills, and Big Bang Burst increased to 10.5. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, Scientist, Goo Blaster, ammo capacity increased to 10, healing increased. Other than that, the Scientist didn't get any more damage buffs, which makes sense. The Scientist was pretty crazily popular character, so. Engineer, increased damage for the concrete launcher, direct damage. Beautiful. So direct damage is now bumped up to 12.8, and then the splash damage is 25. So that'll help out Engineer quite a bit. However, the radius of the splash damage was decreased, and the ammo capacity was increased. So I think that pretty much covers everything. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that helped. I hope now, if you hadn't already looked up this post, now you know what all these changes are, what this big time to kill update was. And that pretty much wraps up this video. Again, make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you didn't see the last video, make sure you guys follow our Twitter, which is at psycho_sibs. And make sure you also follow our Mixer, where I will be live streaming quite a bit because I need to check out all of these new buffs. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.